small bit.
Everyone's stuff.
Should I? Because I did.
What?
I did mine on D&D Beyond. Should I redo it at Roll20?
Well, yeah, because we're using Roll20 to do the thing.
That's my bad. That's my bad.
FYI, we are live.
Hi, people.
Hi there.
I'm new to this whole DMing on a stream thing, so bear with me. This is the session 0 for the Throne of Bone, which is a little, which is a little it's a short dungeon crawl campaign sort of thing. That it's one of those things that can just easily be dropped anywhere in the midst of things. We're planning on creating characters. This evening there will be level 5 characters. I think in total there's going to be about 7 of you guys. If everybody comes, we're missing a couple people today, but that's all right. I'm hoping to get a hang of your characters that you're creating, and as you're level 5, you probably have known each other to some degree beforehand, and that'll help me get you guys into the campaign.
Wait, so our characters know each other? Because that does change how my character would interact because of, like, you know, the Azan-hi thing.
They don't have to, but it at level 5, I would imagine you guys have gone through some sort of shenanigans. But if you want to run into things later on, that is also all right. I can work with almost anything.
I have a question.
Yes.
I need about 5 seconds.
Could you get me a character sheet?
If you go in under players, there's a whole bunch of free ones. Just grab and go.
Okay.
They're open to everybody. Jess, you still there?
I am.
There we go.
Did you find the pins with all the stuff?
Yeah, I think I joined the game. Like, I see 4 players.
Okay, so now you click launch game. It should bring you in.
Testing my mic? Question mark.
I hear you.
Yay!
Cool. Did you send me a link to the game?
It's in the
It's in Discord. Just
in the
It
DM
is.
notes at the very top. It'll say like
Okay.
pinned messages. It's all up in there.
Great, thank you. Sorry about that.
So I know some people had some questions. We could start with questions.
Yeah. So
how's your day?
Okay, doing good. And I do have the races to play test. They are also up under the pins in Discord, but you are not required to play one of those if they do not strike your fancy.
We'll just shun you, that's all. Shun.
I wouldn't mind having a bug friend. Just saying.
They take great offense to being called bugs, but I do it anyway.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
The Gadaki.
Mhm.
Is that the plural form of their name? Is like a singular one, a Gadaki?
It's both.
Okay. Because I've been referencing it one way, and you've been referencing in like
Gadaki,
individuals another way.
Well, yeah, Gadaki is more plural, and yeah, Gadaki is how I've always said it.
Okay, Gadaki. And let's talk starting equipment. We're level 5.
Yes, they're there is a roll. It's like 500 GP. I think. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. It's 500 GP plus 1d10 times 25 gold pieces.
And this is per person?
Yes.
So say that again.
Here, let me put it in.
500. Yeah.
Doo-doo.
After starting equipment, I'd like to hear a little bit about the kind of tone or theme of what we'll be going through, and how these two new races kind of make the world a little bit different.
Okay.
With Throne of Bones, it sounds very friendly.
Very much so.
So, the tone, I think, like I said, it's mostly a dungeon crawl. There's going to be some stuff in the beginning, beforehand, before you get in there. I'm trying to think how to explain. It's, I want to say, whimsical to a degree. Like, it's not going to be entirely easy to get through, but a lot of the challenges can be as amusing as they are difficult, I want to say.
That's promising.
Like, it's not an entirely goofy thing. It's not meant to be like a comedic situation, but it can lend itself in that direction. As for the new races, with the Gadaki, well, originally with them, they were a race that I had come up with for a webcomic that I never actually did, but the whole story in World was created. It was a more like sci-fi sort of thing, but they did fit well in, I think, in a roleplay setting, so it wasn't really that hard to switch him over into this. I did go with them being small, so they are little bug peoples.
Okay, so we are.
Yes.
You did decide to make that the small creature.
Yes, so little bug folks. I didn't, because they were very the technological engineer type people, and that's where they differ from gnomes. That like gnomes tinker and do clockwork stuff, but they're bringing like actual, like they're starting on like steam engines and stuff like that. Like you're gonna get that out of the Gadaki, where like you're gonna get clockwork automatons and stuff from gnomes. Like that's where I wanted the distinction to be. So like they're advancing things a bit in terms of technology. The Azan-hi are almost the opposite of that. They tend to be very nature-based and very elemental. I wanted them to have a feel in like their design and how they interact with the world, in that they're very like there's a bit of the world in them. Like they have almost like face-wise, they have a bit of like cat-like features. They have scales, they have horns, they have hooves, they have claws. The only things that they're lacking is like feathers and wings. But in terms of like having a bit of like as much like nature kind of wrapped up in who they are, and that's what they feel themselves to be. That they are like a part of life itself, and like everything that makes different races and species and stuff alive. And in the world I'm creating, they have this. The answer are a bit different on it, but like there's they say that the world has 4 souls, and the souls being like the elements: earth, water, wind, fire. But the Azan-hi believe that like darkness and light are just as important in a world, and consider them elements as well. And that's like they obviously they're built, like some of them are actually built around darkness and light in that fashion.
How do you change, if you know in the character mancer, your level?
You'll have to do that after you're done going through the character mancer.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think you make a level 1 character and then you just
Level up. Alright, that's
Yeah.
that's alright. That's cool.
Armor. We'll get that extra AC.
So how's your guys' characters coming?
Say again?
So how's your guys' character coming?
So I actually started setting up my character last week.
Oh, I see.
Just because I had time and nothing to do.
Mhm.
So I had most of everything set up. It's just that I had some questions that I figured were best asked once we had everybody here
Makes
before
sense.
I finished up. Now, as far as how much time has passed since quote-unquote level 1 and we've been together or been adventuring, would it have been feasible for those who are technically inclined to do so to have crafted items?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, you have 500 plus gold pieces of things.
Yeah. I'm just thinking
So-
about a backup firearm, that kind of thing.
So,
Will be down.
forgive my ignorance on Roll20 here. How do I? How?
How do you do?
How do I assume I'm not rolling dice for stats on my table.
No.
Let me post the thing in the DM notes real quick. If you copy and actually, you'll have to put a / in front of this whenever you paste this into Roll20. Moment control.
And also, so if I'm using one of your races, Athy, how do I just go with a custom race?
Yeah, the custom, and it'll let you put in all the
Yeah, put in
different
name
stuff. Copy and pasty stuff.
Can't remember if this gets annoyed if you don't put spaces in between the inline. If you copy the R and all of that, and then put a / and paste into Roll20, that will roll all of your stats for you.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
So I didn't hear who all were playing the new races or who's undecided so far.
I'm being one of the new races.
I was gonna play one.
Yep, and I am going to be one of the new races as well. My class that I wanted to play with the race kind of fit in very well. Ooh, those are some good rolls.
The last time I rolled stats, I had to re-roll twice because I had like 2 5s.
Jeez.
And the DM was like, no.
Yeah. With another campaign, or Sunday campaign that I run in, basically our rolls were our rolls. If we didn't like it, tough crap. But still, those are some good stats. But yeah, so you're probably going to have to correct me a few times on this before it ingrains into my head, but the Gadaki?
That's fine.
Gadaki?
Gadaki is
Oh.
how I've always said it.
Gadaki.
I said it wrong the first time too.
Yeah, Gadaki. Yeah, with them being natural-born engineers, and in their description being firearms, I figured Gunslinger would be freaking awesome to bring into this. So I am running a Gunslinger Gadaki.
Hell yeah.
I am of the streaked variant for that sweet, sweet dexterity bonus.
No, tokens will be difficult with the new ones, but I have like some art and I could do things. Just if you, I can make tokens for you guys if you just put like a description somewhere in your sheets for me to find.
Do you mind if we like, because I know some of the people in this group and I don't know others, and Acheron, I know that's not your real name. I don't even know what your name is.
I
know
go by
Athy.
Acheron.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So, and I know you're in a few games, and then Athy, I think everybody else knows you.
Yeah, James and Michael are in the high school D&D club, and I invited them to come play because they've been active a lot in the chat. And I thought it would be because they've been interested in, expanding more with the D&D stuff because I think I've infected them, and I am proud.
Yeah, I've seen the icons in there, but it's nice to put an icon to a name face.
And Killy is my sister-in-law,
Hi there.
who is very badass, and I played with you once, I think.
Yes.
Once for
That
like
one
2
time.
seconds. That one time.
Hey, that character went into another campaign and had a really, really epic. He's immortal now, kind of. Complicated. He's an archivist now, forever, since that campaign ended, which is a little sad, but
Sadly, stories sometimes do have to come to an end.
Yep. Our Curse of Strahd campaign was one of those.
no spoilers. I'm in the middle of one right now.
No, it's okay. It ended up breaking up due to what would have led to character infighting. And me probably killing half the party.
That sounds entertaining.
Yeah.
So are there any other questions I could help out with?
Let's see. We covered starting equipment. We covered a time elapse. We covered how to pronounce the name.
That was pretty important, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it is. These are your creation. These are your babies. I want to make sure that I'm saying the names right.
Is there like any extra language besides like that would be known around there?
What do you mean? For you mean your characters? They speak their own racial languages.
Oh, I found custom. Never mind. I just had to scroll.
Question.
Uh-huh.
I made the character, and I pressed save and exit, and it's being weird and not letting me change or edit stuff.
I think there's little gears now.
For me, it is still showing that you are on your...
Character Mancer?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, hold on.
You're on your class tab for your Character Mancer.
Okay,
Ooh.
Because I saved an exit and I went back out, and then nothing really saved over. Like, it still says 0 strength, dexterity, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'm seeing your scores in there. Though, give me just a moment.
Okay.
I'm poking through.
Okay.
Okay. So, just making sure that thing's saved right. You are going to be doing Tiefling Sorcerer,
Correct.
Draconic.
Correct.
Okay, and your scores are 12, 12, 12, 13, 11, 14?
Yes.
Okay. Your background is Acolyte.
Mhm.
Elvish and Celestial?
Mhm.
Okay. Your personality traits have not been chosen, and neither has your ideal.
Okay.
So it looks like you might be on your background tab that you need.
Okay, let's see. Mm,
Also,
Yeah, I've only
Oh, that's why.
answer for this. This is new for me.
I'm also putting a link in the chat that's like a basic how to create a character on Roll20. It's a pretty good tutorial for it.
So it's updated with the character mancer.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Okay.
It's for after the character mancer.
Gotcha.
Okay. Background. Okay. Okay.
Yep, I saw that you just went to the review.
Cool. Oh my god, he's stalking me. Ah.
And
So you said we're free to tie our backstories together if we want to, but there's no
Yes.
there's not going to be any laid out hooks or anything. Like what's the
That's
box
what I've
text
been
intro,
trying.
if there is any?
That's what I've been trying to figure out, because I just don't want to be like, and you guys begin here doing this, because I say so. Box text intro. That'd be fun.
I would accept that if you did.
yeah, I mean, I'm fine with whatever.
Yes, sir.
I'm not too hung up on any kind of mental backstory that I have going on right now.
Mine doesn't really pertain to this anyway, so.
It doesn't actually have one.
Very true.
So, yeah, that's what, I wanted to hear about your character so I could come up with, a good reason for you guys to be going off and doing this thing.
Well, you said this is going to be a dungeon crawl, right?
Yeah.
Challenging?
Yes.
So that would probably be my reasoning for joining up. I probably would, unless if there is another Gadaki, I probably would have remained solo.
Mhm.
And upon hearing that this is going to
Well,
be
you're going to be in an area where, well, mainly what I was thinking, there's going to be a whole lot of, wolves appearing out of nowhere.
No.
You know,
Yay, more
lots of
wolves.
wolves. Yes, more wolves. But, and people are having issues, and just things are weird things are starting to happen, and help us, great adventurers. But I want to come up with something better than that.
So the kind of general backstory that I have for Echo is that he's part of the Gadaki resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming 55 is young enough for him to have both sets of arms.
It depends. If he was still a child when he got out, that because when you hit puberty, that's when you get a
Right.
gender, and they will immediately come and take you. But or he was born outside of it, and it's just I'm helping my people. That's generally how he would have.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm asking is how long has this resistance been going on?
Not terribly long, but yeah, he if I would say about a generation now. The ones that were born as I guess native to Kish as opposed to native to Gadakis, they'll be old enough now to start getting into shit if they want to.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll probably have him be one of the younger ones that defected with the resistance.
So
Probably was taken by some of the resistance people and raised separately.
Because of my race, I'd probably just be curious.
my character, his name is Siegfried. He would probably be there because he's very interested with learning about new things. He's very knowledge hungry, and hearing about a cave that he can go explore is something that he definitely would love to check out because it's something new.
Something new and weird.
Exactly. Also,
Shenanigans are afoot.
Yes.
Those shenanigans. Okay. Alright, so I finished setting up the thing. I tried to set it to level 5, but it did not. It's not. It's being weird.
So with that,
I don't know how to answer.
well, you did set it to level 5. I do see that. But basically, what you have to do is manually update everything else.
Oh, okay.
So things like additional features and traits you can type in,
Including health.
So health, you could do the standard roll for health or take the average.
Okay.
But yeah, you will need to update that.
Because I'm always really confused about health. How does health work again? Just so
You roll your your hit die, like
Mhm.
sorcerers are 1d6, I think, and then you add your Constitution modifier.
Jeez, it's been forever since I played a sorcerer. Are they really a D6?
I think.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Jeez.
Alright.
I remember when wizards were 1d4. So,
No.
yeah. I know you were having trouble with the Gadaki you made because you went with the negative to Constitution, so you were down a hit point every level.
Yes.
Let's see. So 1, 3, 4. You only get those first 4 rolls. By your first level, you get your maximum for your hit die and your Constitution.
Okay.
So you would start off with 7 hit points and then add in 18, 23. So you would be at 30 hit points.
30. Okay.
You rolled stupendously well.
My other character.
Oh my god, those rolls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He rolled stupendously well.
Beautiful.
And don't forget, at level 4, you get the option of increasing one ability score 2 points, 2 ability scores 1 point, or taking a feat.
Oh, right. I think I'm going to do ability scores.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it just one ability score, or is it...
So it's one ability score 2 points, 2 ability scores for 1 point.
Okay.
So with basically looking at your stats, you'll probably want to dump both of your points probably into your primary stat, which would be charisma.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
So it would be 18 instead of 16.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
And that bumps your modifier from a +3 to a +4. So extra to hit, extra DC on the saving throw.
I have a really probably dumb question, but again, roll 20.
Mm-hmm.
If I click the X on this for a moment on the character mancer,
you're fine.
Okay.
It remembers where you're at.
Okay.
Phew.
Sorry about that. Okay. Cool. Alright. I actually also I didn't make my character. Well, I made it on Elion, but I did not make it. I did not make it on Roll20, but I already came up with the character last week. You can ask Athena. I've been nerding out to her about my character. Was Siegfried. He is a his family was cursed because they knew that they were not long for the world, so he decided to, the dragon decided to, which was a white dragon, curse his ancestor instead of killing him. His ancestor became a very monstrosity type of person, and as generations continued, it sort of grew, and he is one of many generations of his kin. um, he really was fascinated with the world and how knowledge can be very much a power, and decided to start learning. And through that, he um, started following. What was the god again, Athena? I'm sorry?
Agma?
Agma. He started following Agma, who is the god of knowledge, and he crafted his own sort of staff imbued with magic. And it's a long staff. At It's sort of grayish black. At both ends, they sort of curl in. If you've seen, I don't know if this is a right comparison point, but Monado from Xenoblade kind of like curved in at the end. That on both sides, except not as big. But in the middle of both, there are gems that are clear. Whenever he uses a spell, they turn a different color, depending on the spell that he uses. He wears a mask that is very reminiscent of a skull, but only gets passed down his nose, so you can see his jaw, you can see his mouth, so he can speak. And he always wears a cloak because he doesn't want people seeing his dragon face, which is sort of like a yin yang type of situation. His left eye and his left side of his face is just scales, and with one blue icy eye with a pupil, while the other one is just straight black. His arm, not all the way, but partially, has scales and has a claw. So, yes. Okay.
So, with that physical act description, and given his history, his family history, how does that lead him to respond in a situation like being shoved together with 3 other people and having to fight for his life suddenly?
He feels like he's always capable of fighting. He is not the type of person to back down from a battle. He doesn't mind people helping him as long as he gets the notes and he gets the knowledge that he is looking for. He is very much a type of person to say, I will work with you, but what's in it for me type of situation. He's able to hold himself pretty well in the fights.
All right.
Ooh, I get 2 of 2 spells. 2, yeah. Wait, 3 of 2 spells.
There. D12 plus.
I missed the original way so much you don't even know.
James, who are you working on?
That character from way back when.
I just realized you were here. Hello, James.
Tier.
He hasn't said much words.
He has enough. Okay.
An elemental barrel of acid. Done. Click that. Oof, that would have been a
I
misfire.
just want to clarify. This is Azan-hi?
Mm-hmm.
Azan-hi, okay.
Do you have like a derivation from where you got the names? Because I'm trying to figure out like their sound.
Azan-hi, they've not really.
Okay.
That's just kind of what happened. The Gadakis is actually kind of a thing that happened. Like, I had a job a bunch of years ago where I was a luthier, where I repaired string instruments. And the person I worked with, her name was Karen. And whenever she couldn't find something or was bad at something, she'd call it a Gadakis. And I was like, and she said it like 9,000 times a day. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to name my race. And I told her that. And she thought it was the funniest thing. So that's where that whole name thing came from there. So it wasn't anything special in Fantasyland ways, but that's where that came from.
I guess kind of piggybacking on that, with the block of text about the Azan-hi names, I'm seeing some of the example names. Like, where did those come from? A specific language?
Like an origin, like Scandinavian kind of stuff, or I'm trying to figure out the sound that they have more, like, overall, because it seems to be that their name is a pretty important part of.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, that's cool. I was just curious.
I don't really like. It's just kind of like sounds that. Like, I did once upon a time have a growing, like, dictionary for their language. Because, like, they were a race that I have had in my head since I was literally 7 years old. I have a picture that I drew of one of them for when I was 7 years old. So they've been around for a very long time. But, like, there was nothing specific I think I was drawing from. It was just sounds that worked. I think was in my when I create characters and worlds and stuff, the hardest thing for me is naming things and giving like voice to things like that. But so I don't know, maybe I guess I just don't want it to sound like something. I want it to sound unique. And I don't know if I accomplished that, but
I am.
So I did. I was trying to search for ice knife in my spell thing, but it did not seem to come up. Should I just manually write it in?
yeah.
So the SRD inside of Roll20 is not complete with all of the official material.
Because I do have, it's not coming from me. I'm not sure where that came from, where Ice Knife is from. But I do have, like, Volos and.
I think Ice Knife is
and
Sword Coast.
I don't think they even have that available. Do they? I don't know, but I don't have that one.
Should I just like the ones that that are available to me?
Let me.
Well, if you could just copy and paste it in.
Sure.
If that's a spell you want.
So our bot -delta side of the Discord, which really does need a channel of his own, should have Ice Knife as one of the things that you can look up.
Okay. Thank you. I actually did just find it here. Okay.
I think I missed this before, but how do you change your level?
So are you done with the character?
Ish? Not really?
Like, have you gone through the character mancer? Sorry. Because you'll have to fully complete the character mancer before you are able to change it.
So I feel like there's, like, I don't have, like, all of the backgrounds, for instance.
Yeah, I think the character Mancer only has.
It doesn't have a lot of feats, I don't think, and it doesn't have a lot of background stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't have really any of the feats, and it only has the Acolyte background as a choice. So you'll have to choose custom and copy things in from the player's handbook or wherever you're sourcing it from.
So for abilities, forgive me again, I've never, I know nothing about Roll20. What is this tab? Because all I have is ability score, method, and then choose, and then custom.
Yeah. If you select custom, you can manually punch in your
Oh, this is for
ability
scores.
scores. Yes.
Oh, okay, but I already did that because I had the.
You punched it into the race, didn't you?
Should I not have done that?
It doesn't matter, really.
I did that the first time too, and then I had to erase it all.
How come?
No, because I wanted to put in the abilities thing. It's just a trick.
Yeah. Once you're done with it, it shouldn't really matter. As the character sheet becomes pretty fully editable.
Does Roll20 does not do meta magic, does it?
To be honest, I don't know.
If that's a
Are we talking about
Sin.
sorcerer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sin has played a sorcerer. She could be of help, I think.
How do I add the spells from my race?
You'll look them up.
All the meta magic I had to enter manually, but you can find most of it. Like, there's some stuff you can copy pasta if you search meta magic under the.
Yep. But as far as like racial spells, look them up underneath of the information icon, and then just drag and drop the character sheet.
Which spells?
That stealth modifier, by the way.
So I have a question about your Gadaki. You said he was a gunslinger, right?
Yes. So that more into the background as since he's part of the resistance, he was kind of raised to be a more of like an assassin, a long-range assassin, taking out enemies of the resistance.
Okay. Interesting.
And probably one of the reasons as to why he's about is there's something going on out in the world that's threatening the resistance and its cause. And he's been tasked with going and finding out and eliminating causing problems.
So how does he work in battle? Is he like run in and beat them type of thing, or is he more to strategize?
He is more of a sit back and pick them off.
Okay.
He specializes. So he's got proficiency in firearms, but my thought is he specializes in muskets. And muskets have a long range of 600.
Okay.
And a short range of 150. So
pretty good.
Can reach out and touch someone. And if I chose to forego the elemental damage on my firearms, I could actually have it to where I can make the long-range shots without being at disadvantage by having a long barrel as opposed to an elemental barrel.
Very cool. I never played a gunslinger before, so.
Yeah, so this isn't Matt Mercer's Gunslinger. It has some similar abilities and traits, but there are some very key differences. And that's mainly due to weapon modification, some of the traits available. I did post a link in the DM notes in the Discord. You might have to scroll up. for it. But
Okay, thank you.
but as far as ammunition is concerned, it does not appear that they've put a cost to the ammunition, so I will be using Mercer's cost for ammunition crafting, which I think is 20 per 10 shots. It might be 5 gold per 10 shots. I'm not sure to find.
So, Athy, I have a question about the Azan-hi. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
So, what is the sense of humor like for one of these people?
They're generally very good-natured people. So like, they would definitely like sense of humor, as in they have one. They're generally, like I said, good-natured, and they'll screw around with each other if that's the type of person they are. They run the gamut of personalities.
Okay. I was curious because as I was reading, I was wondering if they were more. I don't know. I was picturing them as a little bit more dry, but I like it if they're not.
The older ones can be, but like the younger ones are, they haven't gone through the things that their ancestors had gone through, and any that are that remember. So like, they're more like, I want to go out and see the world. I don't want to be stuck in this place forever. And they're finally starting to go out. So yeah, the younger ones will definitely be more open to that sort of stuff, especially if they've been out in the world and have met other people and learning and growing as people. Because definitely at the very beginning, they'd be along the line just like, how does the world work? Like, how does money work? How do how does because they have been isolated for a very long time.
What is world? Okay. I think I'm ready.
I am about.
I am about as well.
Tell us about your guy, James.
Yeah, I said I'm about done as well.
Yeah, but tell us about.
Oh, well, I'm an Azan-hi, and his nickname is Riddler, and it sort of has to do with his true name, which is like Enigma, because Enigma Riddler. It's a play.
Oh jeez.
Michael Zams.
It's wonderful. Because his backstory is actually being a wanderer as well, but I think it's actually called it's a different thing. It's called Outlander. So I'm like more tuned with nature, so I like it a lot. As far as like my interactions with like people, I think if you're not one of my friends, I won't trust you that easily. But like once you're a friend forever.
Is this why you are on your adventure? Because one of your friends are for it, or is it for a different
No,
reason?
I'm just naturally like curious about like the outside world.
Well, definitely hook-wise, if you're all coming from different directions. Some of you might be here that weird stuff is happening up in these woods, a wooded area. You may have heard that supposedly there's something dangerous out there that was hidden. Depending, like you were saying that Acheron, like you were saying that something could be against the resistance, and maybe you're looking for this thing before somebody else finds it.
Mm-hmm.
Like along those lines.
Yeah.
The main thing that people are noticing is that there are a lot of very, very large wolves. Like there are always wolves out there, but there just seems to be more Kyle and Sin, what's your character up to?
Okay. Well, we obviously chose to kind of mush together one character because our time is very limited. But I think we got a mostly believable way in doing it. We're Azan-hi, Shade Right, I believe is how you say it. And we're still kind of figuring out the backstory and motivations, but essentially, your wording was darkness can taint your sense of direction or trick you into believing and seeing what is not there or real. It holds your thoughts and emotions at bay and can amplify them into your greatest fear. So we kind of saw that as a way to, and you can tell me if this is something that would happen with this race or not, but I was thinking that perhaps one of the, when we were, being born or something like that, being created, I don't know if twins would be possible, but instead of having twins, maybe both of us got merged into one. And with the Shade Right, we are closer to being two separate personalities when we're in the midst of battle or closer to embracing our darkness inside. So the character's name is Vidar, and he has always, it's more of like a unisex kind of thing, but we're assuming they.
Yeah.
We're going to actually probably speak
there we go.
We're probably going to speak in we for the most part.
Okay.
But we probably feel at home more and more complete when we're fighting, because we feel that we're less alone. Being closer to violence and darkness in general makes us feel closer to being whole, I guess is how we would put it. So while we can't figure out exactly what triggers either personality coming out more than the other, they're more closely melded when we are fighting.
I'd like to point out that Cassie just said, I don't know what the world on fire.
Hello?
Hello there.
Oh, I haven't been paying attention to Twitch chat.
I
am not going to be able to manage doing both. I don't know how Casey does that. But,
I'll manage the chat.
But that would work. It could be because shamanism in such is a big thing for the Azan-hi, and they would like they might almost see it as like maybe one of the twins died and the other soul was just like, no, I'm not letting go of you. Something along those like they will view it in different ways. Like that can happen. I could see that, but it wouldn't be a secret. Like if it's an actual soul thing, like definitely like the shamans would be like, this has happened and they're not letting go of each other and we will have to deal with this somehow.
Yeah, I feel like it would have ostracized Vidar, like, as much as we would have tried to be normal, as normal as, we could be viewed as, it definitely set us apart. Mm-hmm. And eventually, I'm not exactly sure which background we're taking, but it's probably going to be something where we go off into our, to find ourselves and make our own way.
Why should we have to hide what makes us best? This is outrageous. We are leaving.
Yeah.
I'm taking my child home.
Because I could see it being one of those things where, like the family or whatever, just being like, you can't go alone, and then you'd be like, well, we're not. We're not alone.
In the creepiest, echoiest voice ever.
We are never alone.
Just like the twins from The Shining in the hallway. Was it The Shining? Come and play with us.
Okay, so the Gadaki, their attacks made with their secondary arms is disadvantage.
Yes, because they're weak.
Little steps.
Now, does that count for thrown items as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
because like this, it's something you would have. Because I was planning on doing like racial feats,
Mhm.
and like if like a feat that'll take care of that.
Gotcha. 2. Yeah. 6 daggers, 2 muskets. That's all the weaponry I need.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Siegfried has a little bit of British accent, nothing too fourth heavy, but he also enchanted his weapon to kind of stick to his back, so he can just put it down and just stay, and no one else can really take it off.
Hyper attuned.
Yes.
Nah, dagger's more assassin.
Elion is who now?
That's me.
I like these characters.
Yes, yes, this pleases me.
I see Echo has Fade. That one, like when I said Fade was like the character, and that's who that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I went ahead and just used the
Yeah. I'm
fancy
actually.
window snipping tool in order
Let me
to...
show you. I gotta throw this in Discord real quick. It's not finished, but I've been slowly working on this.
Hey, nice. Progress is progress.
I love the baby secondary arms. It's like a person hugging you 24/7. A little comfort blanket, except it's baby arms. I will be right back.
They are kind of creepy in 3D.
Just a little bit. I would have imagined them just maybe, I don't know, about 30% bigger than they are.
I'm still fighting with it.
Gotcha.
They are kind of small.
Yeah, and no positioning.
Yeah, I thought they
3D
would be like
models
a
is
bit lower.
pain.
Sort of.
Like, cause I don't know, cause you said they're bug people, so I thought it'd be like more of like pincer arms. I don't know.
Well,
But that,
the way
that
she
makes more
has
sense.
the nude reference for Fade is what, about 3 inches below the armpit is where the shoulder of the second set of arms.
Yeah.
And they're about half the size.
Yeah. I kind of like ghetto rigged this. Like that's actually another body entirely, but like the body's hidden and just the arms.
Yeah.
I have to like build it so like the arms are entirely separate, like one and the
Yeah.
other, and I can tack them on. But
Okay, so 2 muskets, 70 rounds of ammunition, daggers, studded leather, efficient light.
oh, for the Azan-hi folk, actually, like, let me transmogrify my world map in. It's not really going to make that much of a difference, but like, so you could get an idea of where your characters have come from and been, especially being at level 5.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. More lore, please.
Okay, here. Wing.
Just
Big.
sure level.
It's just like constantly being updated world map.
Ooh.
So
Zooming out.
Ooh, there's so much.
yes, there is.
Nom, 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 nom.
Oh, there's a giant tree. Burn it.
That giant tree is one of the places where the Azan-hi are from.
Don't burn it. Take it back.
Don't burn it. It's mountainous sized to the point where you could farm on the arms of the tree and like have entire communities built up in it. Like it is literally near mountain sized. It's their tribal tree. And that's one over there. If you go to like the complete opposite side of the map and to the north where the desert is, there's that whirlwindy thing. Inside that whirlwindy thing is here I could actually move it. There's like a whole hidden
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
area, and for both places, they will never tell anyone where it is. But for your reference, like think of this area similar to kind of like I know World of Warcraft, like the Thousand Needles area. It's all the big, tall, thin mesa type thing. They live on top of and around and through that in big tents.
I returned. Hello.
So
Wait, that's where the Azan-hi live?
that's one place, the deserty area, and then the southwest in the giant tree on that island down there.
Is there a name for either the tree or the giant island? I noticed you threw some names in here.
I don't have names. Like if you want to come up with the names, like you can. Like if you notice, like my like the roads don't have names. Like there's a lot of stuff, and then I realized like, oh shit, I have to name all these things. Like, but yeah, these along the roadways, there are these little these are little outposts. So pretty much traveling, they're pretty much a week apart from each other, roughly.
Oh damn! So this continent is huge.
It's big, and
so you have a lot of room for cities.
Have a lot of room for cities and towns and stuff. The capital, you should recognize the name up here with the dragon. But this is where the king and queen are of the Air Dragonborn. Frigate is not one of them. But yeah, the outposts, they're pretty much places, they're caravanserai, technically, where like it's a safe place to stay. They're kind of like hostels. Some of them will have like not so much like a town, but like just like little things like, hey, we could repair this, or we have fresh horses if you're a runner, stuff like that. Like it's not like they do have the opportunity to grow into towns, but they're not really. The only one that has is this one. It was called the Spokes, and they kept that name because it's like a big convergence point. So it actually did build up more into a town. And at the caravanserais, there are they're generally like at the top of the main building. There are poles with different color flags on them, or it would just be like strips of different color cloth, each color meaning like this mail was left here for somebody. If you know who you are, come get it. One will be like if there's a merchant caravan come through, they'll put up a color saying like there's trade available, like stuff like there's a healer here for X amount of time if you need help. Like there'll be different colors to signify what's going on, and it changes often because different people travel through.
And Siegfried is from Nemesis, and the other my Dragonborn in my other campaign is from Core.
Yes.
I'm assuming Carduran down here in the south would probably be a feasible area for the Gadaki?
No, they actually have a place. If you go all the way to the side, there's an island with Kish. That's where they're from. That's where
Gotcha.
And that's where the little gears and shit on the main
Gotcha.
city. This is where they're working on a thermo-arcanic locomotive engine. They are trying to build a train. So that's what's going on over here. So Gadaki probably know that. Like, they do have a thermo-arcanic locomotive steamboat that runs up the rivers.
So
There
they
are
don't have
steamboats.
airships like
No.
Zeppelins?
Oh,
Nope.
damn.
Because I know as part of like Sword Coast, the area of Halarua, or the city of Halarua, where my other gunslinger is from, they actually do have magic powered airships.
Not currently.
No.
But yeah, so they have this steamboats on the rivers, and
Still,
they're
that's
working
cool.
on a train. They're laying out tracks to like connect the main towns here on the island and seeing how that goes.
Gotcha.
I have some stuff I have a lot for, others not so much. But yeah, the kingdom itself stops at the mountain range. Going past here, it's like the high level area. You don't want to go in there; you'll die, kind of like situation. But but like you'll get a lot of the goblins, and there are a lot of gnolls out past here. This is a swamp area. Nothing is like they have tried to push out and expand the kingdom and like put settlements out here, but nothing has been able to like stick for very long because either gets raided, destroyed, something happens. Yeah.
So I have changed myself to level 5. How do I... What now?
And
Update.
Yeah.
can you ping where this throne of bone is?
They're going in the throne.
Yeah,
Area.
and obviously answer the 5th level question too, but I was just real quick.
I was going to put that up here. You see?
Yes.
In this
To
area.
the east of Andoran.
In this wooded
Memories.
area.
Yeah. Now, as far as 5th level is concerned, you update everything manually at that point.
Like on the character sheet?
Yes.
Oh boy.
You are Elion?
Yes.
What class are you?
I am a ranger. I was gonna go Gloomstalker, but I think I'm just gonna go plain old ranger because easier.
Define plain old ranger. Because you still have to choose a
thing.
a thing.
You can choose hunter, you can choose,
Archetype.
beastmaster.
And are you using the revised ranger or the standard PHP ranger?
Probably standard PHP because I've never played a ranger and I have the PHP in front of me.
Okay, so that would be that.
Rangers are good. Make sure you use a bow. Don't ask James
so
about
yeah,
our experience
hunter
with the
or
ranger.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna play hunter. It's like every other game I ever played.
Okay. So yeah, as far as things that you gain for levels, so like at 3rd level, gaining the following features underneath of Hunter. You would get one of those. You would choose which one you want, and you should be on the core page now. If you look at your sheet,
Yeah.
you should see this show up. Did you see Hunter's Prey show up?
Yes.
Okay. So I put that in there. And that's where you would go through and put in things that you gain from class if you wanted to have just be able to be quickly shot out into the Roll20 chat. And this is the area. Type in bulk of it. And of course you can select your source just by clicking at your drop down. So let's see. And again, 4th level you get ability scores or a feat. I don't know if you've already modified anything for that.
I have done nothing.
Okay.
I don't know how to use Roll20.
He actually just changed everything, so
Yeah.
we're all a bit confused.
So yeah, that little gear icon just basically allows you to edit it.
The one by Hunter's Prey?
Yeah. So if you click on that gear icon, it'll expand it back out in that area where you had put in all the tildes. Or
Oh yeah, because it's my push to talkie.
yeah, it's mine as well. That's where you would type in like which of those 3 you chose.
So I'm actually curious. Whenever you get a chance, what?
Oh, okay, I see.
What are your characters wearing, as in for outfits?
To be honest, Echo's probably wearing a very dark hooded cloak. Again, sass. I want to be able to fade very quickly into darkness. Oh, that was actually...
Sorry.
That was actually something that I wanted to ask about the Gadaki. Do they not have dark vision?
They probably would.
Okay.
Because they're
They're arachnids, aren't they?
They're ground dwellers, essentially.
yeah, but they have hives.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really pictured it very bright. It's very quiet and very dark.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the earplug things, they could look however you want. The sci-fi version had dials on them where they could adjust how much it's muting for them. I'm not sure if there's a way to do that without magic, but in this situation, but they can generally
See, I'm
many
thinking...
different designs on how they look.
Yeah. I'm thinking probably like standard earplugs. Like you would take to like a shooting range kind of thing.
Just get them out the way.
Fades
look like headphones, sort of.
Yeah.
So, Riddler, what is your character wearing? Riddler? Riddler's dead.
James, are you alive?
What up?
You're having questions asked at you.
Oh, I was still staring at my dude. What up?
What you wearing?
Gotcha. Probably just baggy stuff, like, because I don't want to feel like restricted that much.
Is
And I'm
he
just like,
barbarian?
yeah. So just regular common clothes because I like the natural armor.
So you Anansi folk, do any of you know each other? Considering there's only 2 places you can be coming from.
Well, I'm pretty sure I would know the fellow Azan-hi. It depends where they come from, though. I probably come from the giant tree thing.
I come from the Thousand Needles area, which we should probably not call Thousand Needles.
Yeah, like, in my head, that's what I always call it, but I need to come up with something better.
I just realized the entire map is a dragon.
Is it?
It looks like one if you start from the left of the map. look at.
It actually does look kind of like a dragon.
If you
That was
control,
entirely unintentional.
if you control the head, it looks like wing. If looks like a dragon flying.
Any other questions about the map?
So you said from outpost to outpost, it's about a week.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you said that we did like the wolf things. Where would we actually be at?
That was up. Someone actually put a throne of bone question mark. It's like
Yeah,
up.
Are we gonna be outside of the thing or inside of the thing?
Oh, you're gonna start outside of the thing.
Okay.
So you're gonna be out. Like I said, like there's couple hooks. I'll clear them up, word wise when I and throw them in the chat for you to see. But there's a couple of reasons why you could be heading in that direction. Does anybody know each other? Or are you all gonna run into each other at the same time?
I feel like Siegfried would not know anybody, just because he's very much of a loner type person.
Well, I guess we know no one. Interesting.
And I would probably be in much of the same boat. Considering my profession.
I never described Siegfried. He is in very... Underneath, he's a simple black leather, nothing fancy. He has sort of, not baggy pants, but definitely something comfortable. He wears a cloak, a hooded cloak, that he wears most of the time when he is out in social public, so people don't see his face considering the mask. He has a brooch of Agma, which is a scroll, and he kind of connects two pieces of his cloak so no one can see his body and see his imperfection, sort of. What's a good way to describe it? I don't know a good way to describe it for the look. It's covering his body, basically. And whenever he fights, he takes it off, and it just kind of floats in the background and just kind of like waves, like whoosh.
You may not know my character, but you may have seen him. He has the Outlander background, so he plays the lute, and you may have seen him in a tavern or two playing for a couple of coins.
I literally have my dude play the lute too.
Does your character travel from town to town?
He does. He travels around kind of searching for... He's kind of like... He likes puzzles, and one of the personality traits I chose for him is there's nothing I like more than a good mystery. So he goes wherever the wind takes him, Toast. He's a windwright.
Siegfried would like you.
And since he's attuned to music and whatnot, I was reading that in the description. That's also why he's a musician. Like myself.
Let's see.
Probably would have hit Nemonaris at some point, because that's the main, that's the capital of the kingdom. But it is very, very magic oriented. They're super magically inclined up here. There are tool magic schools there that are, they have a rivalry with each other to the point where sometimes parts of the cities kind of rearrange themselves. When stuff gets kind of out of hand. But there's also a sorcerer school that I was telling Mike about. Like, the sorcerers, it's kind of a thing. It's not a requirement, but if you turn out to be a sorcerer, or like you're a child just randomly spouting magic, they're gonna highly suggest that you should probably come to this school and let us help you before you blow up your family, kind of situation. It's a very sort of like X-Men thing where like, oh, you're spontaneously shooting fire, you should come over here and like let us help you with that.
Spontaneous combustion.
And obviously the Dragonborn sorcerers tend to have more clout because in this world, like the Dragonborn are,
like the
it's like-
aristocracy.
yeah, they're definitely the aristocracy. This whole world, once upon a time, supposedly was ruled by like full-blooded dragons. At some point, they supposedly just vanished. No one's seen them in centuries and centuries at this point, like an actual full-blooded dragon. All across the whole world, not just like this continent here, but there are ruins, like just kind of like sitting out in a field or in a forest, and a lot of towns, cities were actually founded and built up in and around these ruins because they were there. And it's so far back that no one really knows what happened or why. With the dragons, they're thinking that either they left, some people think maybe they all died, or they're just sleeping, they're waiting to come back. There's many schools of thought as to what the hell happened, where did they go? But Dragonborn are definitely the aristocracy. They tend, there's more of them than I think, like most D&D worlds have like humans as being like the most populous ones. Here it's definitely Dragonborn because they are the way I always view them and the way they are in this world is they are definitely lizards. They lay eggs. They can lay clutches, so you'll get like a bunch of them at once, as opposed to like humans spouting mostly one at a time. So that's why there's more of them. If they have a tail, they're viewed even, like, oh, they're closer to our being an actual dragon. So it's looked highly upon. It's like a good luck thing if a child was hatched in a clutch with a tail. Dragonborn sorcerers tend to be the ones mostly in charge because they do end up with wings eventually. I have a lot of stuff and I don't know where to spout.
I have a question.
Yes.
Would the Queen and King of Nemonaris know about the Throne of Bone?
Probably not.
Okay.
They are a king and queen, and like you kind of can't just go up and have a chat, you know. They are busy doing king and queen stuff.
Aren't tieflings and also Aesima, aren't they both very uncommon?
They're extremely rare. The way I'm running them in this world is that like they can happen spontaneously. Like they're not really like you're not gonna have a tiefling born of like tiefling parents. You're gonna have a tiefling born of some random race, whoever you are, because like somewhere in your bloodline something happened, and they'll just show up every so often. Probably a lot of them don't survive birth because like what the shit did I just give birth to? But Azamar less so because they're not as obvious. But it's the same situation, like they just happen.
Let's see, 15, 21, 26, 15, 39. Also, Siegfried. Whenever I mentioned the rolling for health, did you add your Constitution modifier 4 times? Because I think we just did base rolls. Plus your starting health. Which would have been 7 plus 23? Is that correct? Yes, so you need to add an additional 3 hit points. 4 hit points, so you're at 34 health.
Wow.
8 hit points. Also, for the Gadakis, especially Echo with your guns, they're very frowned upon. Like not race-wise, but guns in general.
Okay.
They're like in Nemonaris especially, they basically a lot of like wizard type people. They view them as too dangerous in the sense that like wizards and sorcerers, they'll train and learn how to cast these spells that do this damage, and like then you have someone with a gun and you can hand it to anybody and they can fire it, and like they don't see it as having, like, you didn't develop it and you never learned the when and where. That's kind of how they're viewing it. They don't really understand it to like you do need to train with it. They just see like you point and shoot and someone dies, you know, especially among like common people with like 4 hit points.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna go down real quick with these.
And they're going to be kind of pissed off because my well, especially with the more experienced gunslingers, as far as like if using the one that I'm using, elemental damage, able to do elemental damage with moderate amount of training, we'll say, because that's a level 3 ability.
Yeah, they're generally not allowed in Nemonaris. Like you could have them. People will look at you, look down on you for it, but like you can't
they're
sell
going to
them.
look down on me anyhow. I'm barely over 3 feet tall.
Yeah, but they're going to like you can't sell them. Like no merchant can sell them.
Yeah.
No one can buy them. Like you would have to go elsewhere for that. But like in the city, the main city Nemonaris, like no, they're very against that.
So you can say he's going.
So my thing is my belief is that Echo crafts his own weapons. So as far as like his guns are concerned, his daggers, all 6 of them, they're various makes. One could be of like an elvish make, one could be of orcish, that kind of thing. But as far as the guns are concerned, they are labors of love.
They're his babies.
Essentially. So it's one of those things of I would buy the materials in order to be able to make them and expend the time making them. So buying and selling really isn't a concern of his. It's more the components for being able to craft ammunition.
So is he more partial to a certain kind of material for his gun, or is it whatever he finds is scrapped together?
I honestly, since they're handcrafted and unique to him, I would say that they are probably good quality materials. It would probably be something that's readily available. As far as like wood for the stock or any kind of metals for inlays or the barrel, the mechanism, that kind of stuff. Of course, for the mechanisms, it would probably be harder metals like steel, for example. Might take daggers and kind of rework them, that kind of thing, in order to make, like, do the mechanisms, like file pieces of them down, break the blade, that kind of thing. So it's forged metal internals. The barrels probably are a little more difficult to do. But I would say that they are handcrafted out of readily available material. So, like, his lightning musket would maybe have like a oak stock, whereas he's been out on the road for a while, and his acid musket, which he crafted while out and about, might have something like a cherry stock or a maple stock. The metal might look a little bit different because it's from a different part of the continent.
So is he a traveler?
So his background is more that he's an assassin.
I see.
Basically, find a perch, sit and wait for his target, take a shot, and be gone.
Interesting. I like that. So like a mercenary.
Almost, but he's part of the Gadaki resistance. That's and I don't know if you touched much on this, Athy, as far as the Gadaki race and why there's a resistance.
Their current empress and empresses back a bunch of generations, like their race used to be very peacekeeping, very like noble, like almost like samurai in the way that they view things, but along the lines an empress had come into power who was pushing them to expand, and over time they ended up being more conqueror, like trying to conquer, and because of their engineering with their guns and their they have cannons, whereas other races generally either have magic for big things like that. But the thing is, like, you take out their magic users, you know, like, they're not going to be able to fire anymore, and then, like, you take out their gunners, others can just pick up the guns and keep going, you know? That's one of the reasons why they're very, kind of frightening, but, their whole society shifted very badly. It went very totalitarian, and everything became controlled by the Empress and the current government, including like breeding and education. So they're split in 4 different castes, quote unquote. They're like a caste system now, where like you're born a certain way, like depending on how they look, like the way their carapace is colored, they have a specific affinity towards a craft or some such thing. And what they did is like they took that affinity and went very like, you are going to do this, you're going to do what we tell you to do, and kind of funnel them into very specific tasks. And when they work together, they have mechanically they have advantage on skill checks when there's more than one of them around. It's not like a telepathic link, but or a hive mind. It's more like a hive understanding on how to work together efficiently. Like they kind of pick up on what each other's movements are and not mirror it, but do what needs to do to make what they're doing as effective as possible. And especially because they're under so much control that they don't have, like, a lot of them don't feel like they have a life. Like they are themselves machines. They're being treated like machines and treated like they're expendable. And some of them are like, for the hive, for the queen, blah blah blah. They're way into the propaganda and way into how they were raised, and it's all. But others are like, this is shitty. So that's where the resistance started from, and some were able to escape, and they they were given a place, like there were refugees in Kish with gnomes. A bunch of gnomes like helped them out, and they settled down there and built the city. The refugees themselves like built up the city to be more what it is now, because they are like incredible engineers and builders and stuff. But they're finally able to function independently as opposed to being forced into whatever role was designated to them at birth. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. I have not seen anyone else roll for their gold for equipment.
As far as like my equipment goes, I have a sheet for it because this is a pre-made character that Athena made, but I do not have gold. But then again, I'm not sure if we really need it.
Well, if
It
you
might
want
be nice
to,
for upgrading your armor and such.
yeah, you
I don't
could.
need armor.
Okay, so it is 500 plus the 1d10 times 25, so you have 505 gold on top of whatever your background. You are Outland, which I believe... bookmarks are so useful. 10 GP.
1d10?
Yeah, 1d10. Multiply that, multiply that by 25 and then add 500. So you are at 535 gold, Elion, which you can use to upgrade your equipment, buy additional things that you think useful from the equipment table. There's the armor table, which is on page 145. And weapons are on 149. And then additional gear is on the next page. So let's see. As a ranger, you are proficient in light, medium, and shield. Might be worth picking up a shield. And let's see, medium armor, probably a breastplate, or no, studded leather would still get you to the same AC. Studded leather is substantially cheaper. And everybody still there?
I'm still here.
Nope.
It just got quiet there for a moment. I know we're all kind of focusing.
I got my monies.
Yep.
Actually, I might pick up a crossbow, and maybe I'll swap the things for. Maybe I'll take crossbow expert instead of the 2.
And I don't know if anyone mentioned yet, Jess, but you could search for item like equipment and drag it onto your sheet, so you don't have to like manually create everything.
Yeah, I think
Oh, how do I do that?
So if you click on the eye icon, where the chat is, if you hover over it, it says compendium. but it is the third icon up in the top.
Yeah.
And you have a search bar. You can type what you're looking for into the search bar. So, like, if you wanted a heavy crossbow, for example, just type in heavy. And underneath of items, heavy crossbow is one of your items.
Oh, that is handy.
And you can drag and drop.
And you can do the same with spells,
Yes.
which is such a help.
Oh, thank God.
Did you manually enter in all of your other?
I copy pasted most of them.
Gotcha.
Some of them I typed.
Gotcha.
I'm a quick typer.
Yeah. Because I was looking at your dagger, short sword, longbow, all of that, and I was like, yeah, no, that all looks right. And I figured you had dragged and dropped. So, you said crossbow expert, huh?
Thinking about it? I've never played, believe it or not, I play hunters in everything. And except for D&D, I've played a sorcerer forever.
And I just realized my mic was off this entire time.
Have you been saying things?
Oh, I've just been asking how to do gold.
Oh.
Roll a d10, multiply it by 25,
Oh.
and add 500.
Oh.
So you have a bunch of monies.
Hey.
Times 25 plus 500. 620. 675.
So whatever equipment you get, you would subtract from that.
Correct. Also,
And if you have proficiencies in tools that allow you to craft items, like if you want blacksmith, enough time has passed where you could have crafted something, and that is half the cost, I believe, in materials, plus time required.
I don't think he will get anything, or at least not at this moment.
Well, his staff, you could like actually put an enchantment on it,
That could be
like outside of like the you know the
hyper tune.
yeah the what do you call it, like the fluff or
The fluff, yeah. Where is this equipment buying thingy?
So there are tables in the PHB.
yeah. Let me pull them up for you guys.
Yeah.
While
it's
you're doing
underneath
that,
Yes.
Equip.
Ooh,
Well,
also, is anyone else going to do an accent for their character, or?
So, fun thing about the Gadaki,
Mhm.
they talk very quietly, mainly due to their hypersensitive ears. So
they
one
like
of
it when I
the-
yell at them.
yeah, one of the things that Affy had mentioned as far as their lore is they will sometimes revert to common sign language.
Yeah, in this there is like part of learning common is part of it is a sign language, because like there are races like the Gadaki, and then like there might be other races that can't speak, just like they don't have the organs to speak, but they can gesture. So it's part of like it's very basic. It's not so much like the kind of thing where you could hold a complex conversation with it. It's mostly to like get the point across for like trade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
Or
which way to the bathroom, you know, like stuff like that. But
or simple combat communication of enemies
yeah.
over there, move forward or halt.
Yes. Some Gadaki like screaming into like a horn. What are they called?
A megaphone.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have a megaphone as one of your items? Just
No.
Not the not yeah. Well, yeah, it is a megaphone. It's just like the tube with the bell. Like Not the modern ones with the speaker in them. But
I played the very alpha version of this dungeon crawl. Mine was very hipster-like, very Hatsune Miku.
So I have another stupid question.
Yes.
So
No stupid question.
you guys got my hopes up and said that you could drag and drop these things. But
Yes.
Not everything.
I find them dashed upon the rocks as I do not know where I am dragging to.
Just drag it to your character sheet.
It does not. Wait, but okay. How?
Okay.
Just treat me like I'm stupid, and I'm so sorry because I work in
No,
tech
it's fine.
support. So just
Here,
treat me like a child.
real quick. I'm going to drop out of this call real quick, or this group chat, and shoot you a call, and I'll screen share to show you.
Please press 1.
Beep boop.
Oh,
You have to
really?
hear me alright.
I just realized we probably have no healers.
Yeah, I don't have any healing spells.
Rangers can. But
Me.
So I'm sorry, what's
Mhm.
going on now? People left to do what?
he's screen sharing something to show her something real quick. But
You guys can hear me, right?
yes.
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, James. As per usual.
I don't know why, it's just a habit to do that.
No.
I'm gonna have this available to you guys for quick and easy.
Ooh, this thingy. I like this thingy.
Weapon.
All right. I think I might stop the stream then. If
Okay.
yeah, I mean we have to get to bed anyway, and if you want to record the rest, I can put the rest up or whatever you want to do.
I don't think it's going to be a whole much longer.
Yeah. Besides, like, we're just figuring out like background and stuff, and I'm just spiraling into sleepy tiefling Google image searches that aren't satisfying because I can't get close enough to add
I could make something.
No,
Just-
Abby, you have enough to do. You created a world. That's cool. I'm good. I'm just like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it either. So I'm being a sleepy child, basically. But I'm excited about this. I think even if we don't tie all of our backstories in together, I think they'll come together somehow naturally once we know, kind of where we're headed. I think it'll just flow naturally together.
And we could start next week.
Sorry, you faded out there. What?
So we got starting next week.
Yeah, next week,
Okay.
same time.
Yep, that was my plan.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Right
I have
now,
no idea how long this is going to take to complete, but we'll just go until it's over. So,
What are you looking at for session durations?
our usual is 4 hours, but we could do less if it's easier for you guys.
it doesn't matter to me.
I mean, Kyle and I both work at 5 in the morning the next day, so if we could do like 3 and change,
Sure.
that would be preferred if possible. I mean, we might even be able to start earlier on Fridays if that works for anyone.
That is us. That works for me.
That works.
7, maybe 6.
Yeah, I don't know if I think we're the only ones in existence that live in the central time zone. It feels like.
I'll throw up questions in the chat during the week.
Okay, so this should be up on the YouTubes for the views, if you guys want to recap what went down and stuff. So, all right. Well, thank you, Athy. And thank you, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet
Nice
you
to meet
guys.
you too.
Good evening.
Good evening.